So the Apple Watch Ultra 2 promises better battery life, better GPS, and more features for those adventure-seeking users. I've been using it for 6 months now. Does it stack up, and was it worth the price? Let's start with my use case and how I've been using the Apple Watch Ultra 2. I'd say I'm a fairly active person, typically tracking a couple workouts per day, maybe a dog walk or a run in the morning, strength workout in the evening, or flexibility or stretching before bed. I do connect it to the Apple TV to use Fitness Plus and enjoy using that service from time to time. Sleep tracking is a big one that I've been using on the Apple Watch Ultra 2 versus the older Series 7 that I did not use sleep tracking on. And I have cellular connection enabled. A couple things I don't do is Apple Pay on the watch. I don't really ever use that. I don't use it for swimming, and I haven't used it for any trail-based navigation for either running or hiking. And lastly, I don't actually use all that many smart features. There's not a lot of apps that I prefer to use on the watch over the phone itself. So I have a lot of the notifications turned off, but I do things like read texts and respond to iMessages on the watch. Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. Price. The Apple Watch Ultra 2 is a very expensive smartwatch with fitness tracking features. But there really isn't anything else out there on the market that comes close in terms of features and how well integrated it is with the iPhone. And of course, battery life. While better than a normal Apple Watch series, 7, 8, 9, or any of the older watches, it still kind of falls flat when you compare it to something like a Garmin or a Coros that might get you 5, 6, 7 days or even more, depending on how you use it and what sort of GPS features you're taking advantage of. A couple of the things that I really like about the Apple Watch Ultra 2, specifically, always on display. This was something that I never turned on the previous Apple Watches just because battery life was not that great, and you could definitely take a noticeable hit in battery life on a Series 7, say, if you kept always on display on all the time versus off. Secondly is screen brightness. It did get a noticeable bump over the original Ultra, but outdoors while working out or running or whatever, I don't have any problems with visibility on the Ultra 2 display, and it actually gets dim enough at nighttime that it doesn't totally blind you if you accidentally trigger it while you're sleeping or if you wake up in the middle of the night. I already mentioned cellular, but I don't like running with my phone, and it's really convenient for dog walks to just kind of leave the house, and you have the cellular connection on your watch, so you know if there's an emergency, somebody can get in touch with you. It's a great feature to have, gives me peace of mind, and it's really not that expensive for what you get. Right now with my plan, it's $5 a month for that cellular service. So it's definitely worth it for me. Music integration is probably the biggest thing. I do like Apple Music. I am an Apple Music subscriber and user. The audio quality is great. And being able to pop in AirPods or Beats Fit Pro, which is my preferred running headphone of choice, have them seamlessly pair with the watch and play a playlist that I've either downloaded or stream it, since I do have cellular, is great. Now you can do the same thing with Spotify, and Garmin has similar integrations with Spotify, but ease of use is my point here. The Apple Watch, the iPhone, and Apple Music all play so nicely together that it's a pretty seamless experience. Now that said, there are a few issues that I've had with this. I do turn Bluetooth off on my phone, and I turn Wi-Fi off on the watch before I go out for a run. If I'm getting ready and I want to start streaming the music to my headphones, I have to make sure that it's not streaming from the phone, and I have to make sure that the watch doesn't want to control the Apple TV and HomePod minis in the basement for the home gym. So it can be a little finicky at times, but for the most part, it's plug and play. And getting anything else like a Garmin or a Coros, the experiences are just that much more fragmented and not quite as easy to use. For the band, I really like the trail loop. Got a couple different colors in the trail loop because it does get a little dirty over time. It actually washes up fairly well though. A little bit of OxyClean and some dish soap, soak it, scrub it by hand, and let it dry, and it's pretty much good as new. I found the trail loop to be the best band for me personally because I don't get a secure lockdown with the Nike sport bands, the rubber ones. The holes just aren't quite in the right place. It's either cutting off circulation in my wrist or too loose that it's allowing the watch to move around as I'm working out or running, which, as everybody has experienced, can be really frustrating when the heart rate data drops out during the middle of a workout. I've also tried out the Nike sport band, the nylon one, and it just feels a little bit more bulky. It's a little thicker, and it actually weighs a little bit more than the trail loop as well, despite the attachment points being plastic on that versus the titanium on the Apple Watch specific version. Now, out of the box, the Apple Watch Ultra 2 is a pretty good fitness tracker. It's a really great smartwatch, but it's just okay at tracking fitness activities. There's a few apps that take it from good to great, in my opinion, that I enjoy using on the watch and the phone. First two give you kind of a look into something like Garmin's body battery and HRV training status. So that's athletic and superset. And both of these apps display pretty much the same data. They're trying to give you a recovery score based on your HRV reading during sleep. So it tracks your activity, it tracks your sleep, and gives you a recovery score to tell you if you're training ready or not. And it tracks things like resting heart rate, respiratory rate, blood oxygen level, and wrist temperature while you sleep as well. Now, some of that stuff is available in the Apple Health app itself, but these third-party apps display the data in a way that's a little bit easier to understand, and they oftentimes have explanations that tell you what you should be looking for when you look at those readings. Of course, what matters above all else is how you feel. So if you feel ready to train, go ahead. But it's nice to have the data available. If you're starting to feel like you're coming down with something like I have right now, you get a score in the morning that says, hey, you didn't sleep that great, and your HRV training status indicates that you probably should take it easy today. That's great. That actually aligns exactly with how I feel. So it's pretty good when that lines up. And then when you're feeling good and you get the score that says, hey, go for it, you're ready to train today, it also can give you that extra mental boost of, man, I've got this. This is going to be a good workout today. Next is Work Outdoors. Work Outdoors brings some of the customizable mapping features to the Apple Watch, similar to how Garmin does. You can import and export GPX files for different routes you have saved, do turn-by-turn navigation, and the screens while you're running or biking or whatever activity you're doing are infinitely customizable. You can see almost any piece of data that you want, and you can arrange it in different ways. There's graphs, there's all kinds of different stuff that you can do to customize your screens how you see fit. And that's perfect. I wish, the Apple Watch and the iPhone let you do custom workouts on the phone, which brings me to the next app is RunKit, which actually does let you do that. You can create custom workouts for running with rest and intervals and different pace notifications, which you can do on the watch itself. It's just a little frustrating. The screen's small and it can be hard to get right, but RunKit lets you do that on the phone, save the workout, push it to the watch, and it shows up directly in the Workouts app on your watch. You can schedule workouts for days in advance. So on that day, the workout just pops up at the top. It's using the Apple API to do that. So this watch definitely isn't for everybody. It's an expensive gadget. The battery life is just okay. You might get a couple of days out of it wearing it 24/7. But at the end of the day, it's definitely the easiest experience for me at the moment. I've contemplated switching to a Garmin and to a Coros this year as I've gotten more into running. And I just can't help thinking to myself, what features will I miss when I leave the Apple ecosystem and buy myself a Garmin watch. Am I going to miss the smart features? Am I going to miss the Apple Music integration? I definitely want cellular so I can run without my phone. And at the end of the day, I've just kind of circled my way back to let's wait and see what Apple does for the Watch Ultra 3 before I make a decision. I would like a little bit more battery life, even if they added a day or two. If that 2 days went to 4 days and they doubled the battery life, I'd be happy with that. Even as it stands now, I pretty much throw it on the charger at nighttime or in the morning while I'm in the shower and let it juice itself up, and I'm good for another day at least. Hasn't died on me on a run yet. That might be what pushes me over the edge eventually. But for me, it's definitely been worth the price. It's a worthy upgrade over the Series 7 that I traded in for the Apple Watch Ultra 2, and I've been really happy with my purchase. So let me know if you have an Apple Watch Ultra 1 or 2. What did you upgrade from? Or are you holding out for something else? Thanks for watching. Catch you later.